Hello, my name is Matthias Cavodi. I'd like to welcome you guys to my channel. Today we're going to talk about the Age of Apocalypse, and more specifically the Age of Apocalypse miniseries that came out in 2005, 6 issues long, written by Akira Yoshida, and art by Chris Bachalo. I really feel like Chris goes crazy with the Age of Apocalypse. He really lets go. It's some of his best work. I loved the Generation X tie-ins that he did way back in the mid-90s for the Age of Apocalypse. And here we revisit this dimension after the events of the cataclysmic battle between Magneto and Apocalypse. The 6 issue miniseries, we had a one shot that came out that it's not the best. It's sort of like more introductory for those who hadn't read Age of Apocalypse back in the day. You sort of get an introduction to each one of the characters, like to Colossus. Like, one of the things I really liked about the Age of Apocalypse was these different versions of all my favorite X-Men characters, and some of these versions were really awesome. Like, I really liked Sunfire's design. I really liked what they did with Colossus. Sunfire's design ends up impacting the 616 Sunfire. They changed up his look a couple of times to look like him. Colossus too, he got bigger and more bulkier after the Age of Apocalypse. Story of how Colossus became the leader of Generation X. Then we have how Sabretooth met Wildchild. Also, I really like this particular incarnation of Sabretooth, Mr. Creed, that he would end up actually running around and working with the Exiles during this time. He's not actually in this miniseries. We get the introduction of this dimension's Silver Samurai. But all these stories are just really basic. It's just, you get a brief glimpse of who these characters are. And what we do discover in this one shot that's sort of important, but it's all also in the main story, is that Magneto wasn't the one stopping the bombs falling on New York City and saving everyone. That's sort of his dark secret, and someone's in on it, which is actually Mr. Sinister. And before I spoil the hell out of this miniseries, it's worth a read. It's not the best ever. Maybe my love and nostalgia for the Age of Apocalypse wins me over with this one, but it's a fun read. At least for one go around is worth it. Big premise of the story is that Sinister knows that Magneto isn't the great savior, even though he does take all the credit of what went down. So we get into the miniseries itself. We have this young girl around Canada searching for Wolverine, comes across with Age of Apocalypse Puck. That was sort of cool because we didn't get to see him back in the day when the Age of Apocalypse came out. So it's great to see this, that Puck was not forgotten. And the thing is with this girl, and spoilers, all before anyone gets pissed off, it's sort of hinted that she's X-23, but actually at the end of the story, she's actually Wolverine and Mariko Yashida's daughter. Her name is Kuriko. And, well, actually, that's her code name. I'm not sure if we get her real name in this story, but we do discover that she's Wolverine's daughter. So during this time, humanity's back. They're trying to get civilization up and running. Magneto and his X-Men are working with the government, and they're actually working together to take down the remnants of Apocalypse's forces and mutants that have to go to justice because they did terrible things during the Age of Apocalypse. So in their first mission, the X-Men go up against the Hellions. Is able to find Wolverine, but he's not interested. He doesn't want to go back to civilization because at the end of the Age of Apocalypse, Jean Grey dies, and Jean Grey was Wolverine's love of his life. In reality, Jean Grey didn't have a relationship with Cyclops per se, but she did with Logan. Second mission, Magneto and his X-Men go up against the Morlocks, and again, Chris Bachalo's art is a real treat. He really has a lot of fun, especially working with the Age of Apocalypse. That gives him a certain level of creative liberty, since these are not the main 616 characters. Is able to convince Wolverine to go back to civilization. They cross paths with Aurora. In North Star, we get a pretty good battle there. And here's a really nice detail. Like, one of the issues, we have one of those classic parts where we have the X-Men actually blowing off some steam, playing football. This is when Wolverine arrives. And Wolverine is not on the best of terms with the rest of the X-Men, especially with Silver Samurai. There's a lot of bad blood between them. Then we have the Githers brothers, who were in cahoots with Apocalypse back during the Age of Apocalypse. They go through a terrorist attack on Washington. We have the X-Men having to battle against them, but this is actually sort of a distraction because one of the X-Men, which is Zorn, is actually Gither. She was part of Generation X, and she's really pissed off because they left her for dead after that mission. No one came after her, so she wants the X-Men to pay. She actually kidnaps Magneto's son. Githers are actually under the orders of Mr. Sinister. So Mr. Sinister actually wants to collect on a debt because the thing was, Sinister didn't tell the world that Magneto wasn't the one responsible for stopping the bombs. All of Magneto's credibility, and in exchange, Magneto would never hunt him down and try to persecute him. But now, Sinister wants a favor, and he's going to collect on it, or he's going to blow Magneto's credibility into the gutter. So Magneto comes clean. He tells his X-Men what had happened, and we discover that actually Jean Grey has not died. She's actually been brainwashed by Mr. Sinister. So in the final issue, we get the battle between the Sinister's Six, and the X-Men. Cool to see the members. Obviously, we have Jean Grey. We have Cloak and Dagger. A lot of times, people forget that Cloak and Dagger are mutants. Sometimes has tried to change the status of Cloak and Dagger on a couple of occasions, but by default, they are mutants. Siren, Sauron, and this fat guy who has Havoc's powers. We don't know who he is. And the big revelation in the story is that Sinister reveals that Jean Grey is mutant alpha. Her bloodline leads to the first mutant. And from the little I know what was going down now with the Avengers, with the Avengers Million BC, there's a redhead that has the Phoenix Force. It sort of makes sense, but maybe not. But at least here it's established that her bloodline leads to the first mutant. That's why she's so important, and that's why she's always so powerful, and why the Phoenix Force always chooses her. Actually, they don't mention the Phoenix Force, but it's sort of established that the Phoenix is in this universe anyways. But the thing is, the Avengers, listen to me, the X-Men are able to defeat Sinister and his forces. Jean Grey obviously regains her memory. Everything's wrapped up really quickly, nice and tidy. And as I said before, the plot to these 6 issues is the best. It does ride and lean a lot on nostalgia. But at least I really like the Age of Apocalypse. I like the way it's resolved. I don't like after this, we have a crossover with the Age of Apocalypse. Well, during this era with Exiles, then after this with Uncanny X-Force. But then we get an Age of Apocalypse series that I really didn't like. I did like the crossover with X-Force, but the series after that, it really didn't work for me. And what happens with the Age of Apocalypse in the Secret Wars, also, it wasn't my cup of tea. So I'm going to leave this here. I really like these 6 issues, written by Akira Yoshida. They're fantastic. See you guys next time.